I never imagined my life would turn into a cautionary tale. Love, trust, and forgiveness. These were things I believed in, but the reality of my marriage shattered those beliefs in ways I never saw coming. My name is David, and this is my story. Maria and I had been married for 9 years. We had a decent life, ups and downs like any other couple, but we always found our way back to each other. At least, that's what I thought. We had two beautiful children, a home filled with laughter, and what seemed like an unshakable bond. Maria was my best friend, my partner, the woman I thought I'd grow old with. Then, one evening, my perfect world crumbled. It started as a normal night. I had left work early, planning to surprise Maria with dinner. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something strange. A car parked across the street, its headlights dimmed but still running. Curiosity gnawed at me, but I pushed it aside. I stepped inside our home, expecting to find Maria and the kids. Instead, the living room lights were off, and the air felt unsettlingly quiet. I walked upstairs, and that's when I heard it, a hushed voice. Laughter that wasn't meant for me. My heart pounded as I moved closer to our bedroom door, which was slightly ajar. Through the narrow gap, I saw Maria, her back turned to me, her phone clutched in her hands as she whispered sweet nothings. And then she said his name. A name I had never heard before. She giggled, twirling her hair the way she used to when she was in love. With me. I felt sick. My hands trembled as I stepped back, careful not to make a sound. I didn't confront her that night. I needed time to process, to understand why the woman I gave everything to had betrayed me so easily. The next day, I finally confronted Maria. She denied it at first, but when I told her what I had heard, her face paled. She begged, cried, swore it was a mistake. She told me it had been nothing more than a meaningless flirtation, that she had never crossed the line physically. I wanted to believe her. For the sake of our children, I agreed to therapy. We worked on our issues, tried to rebuild trust. Maria promised she was done with him, that she loved me and only me. Months passed, and slowly I let my guard down. I convinced myself that forgiveness was the right path. Love deserved second chances, didn't it? For a while, things seemed better. We laughed again, held hands again. But then, the signs returned. Late nights, secretive texts, sudden disappearances. I told myself I was being paranoid, until one night, fate proved me wrong. It was a friend's birthday party, and Maria had gone out for a quick dinner with the girls. Something in my gut told me otherwise, so I drove around thinking maybe I'd find some peace of mind. Instead, I found her. A cozy restaurant downtown. There she was, sitting by the window, her hand resting on a man's wrist, her eyes filled with that same warmth she once had for me. My pulse pounded in my ears as I parked my car, but I didn't storm in. No, I waited. I watched as they laughed, as he leaned in, as she let him brush a strand of hair behind her ear. Then they left together. I followed at a distance, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight they ached. I needed proof. I needed to see it with my own eyes. They walked down the street, oblivious to the world. Then, under the glow of a streetlight, she turned to him, and he kissed her. Not just a kiss filled with passion, longing, a kiss that shattered whatever was left of my faith in her. I stepped out of my car. Maria's eyes widened as she saw me. The color drained from her face. The man looked between us, suddenly realizing the nightmare he had stepped into. "David, she stammered. I didn't let her finish. I didn't need to hear excuses. This time, there's no fixing it, I said, my voice hollow. We're done. She reached out, but I stepped back. I had given her a second chance, and she had thrown it away. The divorce was painful. Our children suffered the most, but I knew I had to leave. Staying would only teach them that betrayal was something to tolerate. A few months after our separation, Maria called me. For the kids, she said. We should try again. For their future. I wanted to scream, to remind her of the pain she had caused, but then I thought of our children. I didn't want them growing up in a broken home. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We moved back in together, but it wasn't the same. The love was gone. I slept in a different room. We were two strangers co-parenting under the same roof. One evening, as I put our son to bed, he asked me, "Daddy, do you still love Mommy?" I didn't know how to answer. I just smiled and kissed his forehead. That night, I sat Maria down. We can't pretend anymore. The kids deserve a happy home, even if that means having two separate ones. She nodded, and for the first time, there was no fight left in her. We parted ways once and for all. It was the hardest decision of my life, but the right one. Love is not about enduring endless betrayals. It's about respect, trust, and loyalty. I stayed longer than I should have, hoping to fix something that was already broken beyond repair. If you ever find yourself in my shoes, know this: forgiveness is noble, but repeated betrayal is a choice. Don't let someone make you doubt your worth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away.